There is a stack of cookbooks in Black households across America that most granddaughters have never opened. Church cookbooks with hand-drawn covers sold at fundraisers for $2 in 1961. Community collections from AME congregations in Alabama and Baptist churches in Georgia. The National Council of Negro Women's Historical Cookbook. Frida Dunight's A Date with a Dish from 1948, the Ebony Magazine cookbook that ran through 9 printings before most cookbook publishers were willing to acknowledge that Black women bought cookbooks at all. Handwritten recipe boxes with cards in 3 different women's handwriting because the recipe was inherited, adjusted, and passed down again. Inside those cookbooks is a category of cooking almost nobody makes anymore, the 10-minute recipe. Not the slow braised Sunday dinner, not the pot of greens that went on at 10 in the morning, not the oxtail stew that ran for 4 hours. The other half of Black home cooking, the weekday lunches, the after-school meals for the children, the quick suppers on a Tuesday when the mother was working 2 jobs and had 10 minutes between the second one and putting the family to bed. These recipes are not simple because they are unsophisticated. They are simple because they were engineered over generations, refined in thousands of kitchens, adjusted by women who had almost no time and refused to serve their families anything less than real food anyway. Every one of them uses ingredients that were already in the kitchen. Every one of them makes enough to feed a family. Every one of them tastes like something a woman spent a long time developing, because she did. The food industry has spent 60 years selling Black families the frozen version, the boxed version, the drive-through version of meals that could be made faster at home with better ingredients for a fraction of the cost. What got replaced was not the elaborate Sunday cooking that everyone still remembers. What got replaced was the weekday cooking, the 10-minute recipes that ran the household, held children over between meals, and turned Sunday's leftovers into Monday and Tuesday's suppers with almost no effort. Those recipes are the ones that disappeared because they were the ones the industry could most easily replace with a product. Before number 8, subscribe. This is exactly what this channel is here to recover. Hit that button, then let's go. Number 30. Skillet cornbread. Cornmeal, buttermilk, egg, a pinch of salt, and hot bacon grease in the cast iron. Batter poured into the smoking hot fat. 9 minutes in a hot oven. Done. Number 29. Salmon croquettes. A can of pink salmon, 1 egg, crushed saltines, a diced onion, black pepper, mixed with a fork, formed into patties. Fried in the cast iron 4 minutes per side. Complete protein, omega, 3S, and lunch for 4 people from 1 can that costs 35 cents. Number 28. Fried apples. Sliced apples in a hot skillet with butter, brown sugar, and a pinch of cinnamon. 10 minutes until soft and glossy. Served over cornbread or biscuits or eaten straight from the pan, breakfast, dessert, or a side dish for pork chops. She never chose. It was all 3. Number 27. Buttermilk biscuits, the emergency version. Self-rising flour, cold butter cut in with a fork, buttermilk added until it just holds together, dropped onto a hot sheet pan in rough spoonfuls, 8 minutes at high heat, called drop biscuits because there was no time to roll them out and nobody eating them ever noticed. Number 26. Fried bologna sandwich. A thick slice of bologna scored across the middle so it wouldn't curl in the pan. Fried until the edges crisped and browned, put on white bread with a slice of tomato, salt, pepper, and mayonnaise. 3 minutes. A lunch that fed a working man for the afternoon, and that generations of Black children still remember by smell, the specific smell of bologna hitting hot cast iron on a Saturday morning while cartoons played in the next room. Number 25. Tomato and onion sandwich. Ripe summer tomato sliced thick, sweet onion sliced thin, salt, pepper, mayonnaise on white bread. 2 minutes. Nothing else needed. In August, when the garden was producing and the kitchen was too hot to cook, this was lunch 3 days a week. Number 24. Sardines and crackers. A can of sardines in oil opened, the fish laid on saltine crackers with hot sauce. 90 seconds. Complete protein, omega, 3S, calcium from the soft bones. On the table for the after-church meal when Sunday's cooking wasn't quite ready yet, number 23, sausage gravy over toast. Breakfast sausage crumbled and browned in the skillet, flour stirred into the fat until it browned, milk added slowly with the heat turned down, salt and pepper. 10 minutes. Poured over toasted white bread. Breakfast, lunch, or supper. For a household where the paycheck had to stretch. Number 22, pan-fried okra. Fresh okra sliced into rounds, tossed in cornmeal, seasoned with salt and pepper, fried in hot bacon grease until the coating was dark and crisp. 7 minutes. A side dish that disappeared off the plate before it hit the table. Number 21, skillet cabbage. Cabbage cut rough, dropped into hot bacon grease with onion, salt, pepper, and a splash of vinegar. 6 minutes with the lid on. The cabbage went soft and silky and picked up all the flavor from the pork fat. Fed a family for pennies. Every recipe uses ingredients that were already in the kitchen. Every recipe was designed to move fast because the woman making it did not have the option of slow. And every recipe produced real food protein, fat, complex carbohydrates, calories that held a person through a working shift or a school day from ingredients that cost, in aggregate, less than a single fast food meal today. What replaced these recipes was not a better version of them. What replaced them was a product line, sold at margins. These ingredients could not support, marketed as convenience while producing worse nutrition in more time. The 10-minute recipe was the convenience. Nobody remembered to tell the granddaughter. Number 20, egg salad on toast. Hard-boiled eggs from the morning mashed with mayonnaise, mustard, salt, and pepper. Spread on toasted bread with a leaf of lettuce. 3 minutes if the eggs were already boiled. She always boiled a few extra. Before number 7, I want you to have all of this in one place. Every piece of forgotten wisdom I have recovered is documented in the description below. Number 19, sweet potato pancakes. Leftover sweet potato mashed with an egg, a spoonful of flour, cinnamon, and a pinch of salt, dropped into a hot buttered skillet. 2 minutes per side. Complete breakfast made from what was already cooked yesterday. Number 18, cold rice with sugar and butter. Leftover rice from dinner reheated with a pat of butter and a spoonful of sugar. Sometimes cinnamon on top. Every black grandchild born before 1990 remembers this. It was breakfast when there was no cereal in the house. It was dinner when there was no time to cook. It was a snack after school when the kitchen was closed, but a grandmother was home. 3 minutes from cold rice to warm bowl, and no packaged cereal has ever competed with it on taste or on cost. Number 17, grits with cheese and butter. Quick grits in boiling salted water for 5 minutes. Sharp cheddar stirred in at the end, a pat of butter on top. Complete meal for breakfast, lunch, or supper. Cost pennies, fed the whole family. Number 16, fried potatoes and onions. Cold boiled potatoes from last night, sliced and dropped into a hot skillet with onions, salt, pepper, and bacon grease. 8 minutes until the potatoes had a crust on both sides. Breakfast or dinner. Or midnight when someone was hungry and the kitchen was closed. Number 15, neck bones and rice, the quick version. Not the 4-hour Sunday version, the Tuesday version, using leftover meat pulled from Sunday's bones and stirred into hot rice with a little pot liquor. 6 minutes. The Sunday cooking became Tuesday's dinner without her having to start from scratch. Number 14, fried Spam. A slice of Spam fried until the edges were crisp, served with a fried egg on top and toast on the side. 6 minutes. Not a joke. In many black households, particularly military families, this was a serious weeknight dinner, and every child at the table finished the plate. Number 13, pan-fried catfish, the small batch version. 2 catfish fillets dredged in cornmeal, fried in the skillet, 4 minutes per side. Not the Friday feast version. The Tuesday, when only one person is eating dinner version. Served with hot sauce and white bread. Number 12, peach cobbler in a skillet. Canned peaches in the cast iron with butter, brown sugar, and a topping of biscuit dough dropped in rough spoonfuls. 10 minutes in a hot oven. Dessert made from what was already in the pantry, no rolling, no fussing. Number 11. Cheese and crackers with pepper jelly. Sharp cheddar cut into slices, laid on saltines with a small spoonful of red pepper jelly. 2 minutes to assemble. An afternoon snack that appeared when company arrived unexpectedly and disappeared before the coffee was ready. Number 10. Milk toast. Toasted white bread torn into a bowl, warm sweetened milk poured over it, a pat of butter melting on top. 2 minutes. Fed to sick children when nothing else would stay down. Fed to hungry adults on nights when the money was gone and payday was still 3 days away. A comfort food so basic it doesn't appear in modern cookbooks at all, but every black woman over 60 knows what it tastes like and knows who made it for her. Number 9. Sardine salad. A can of sardines mashed with mayonnaise, chopped onion, lemon juice, and black pepper. Served on crackers or bread. 3 minutes. Every ingredient shelf-stable. The whole meal ready before the coffee finished brewing. Number 8. Sugar toast. White bread toasted, buttered while hot, sprinkled with cinnamon sugar. 90 seconds. Not a real breakfast in the modern sense, but breakfast for a generation of black children who ate it before walking to school and remember it now with the specific tenderness reserved for things a mother made when there was almost nothing to make. This is one of the recipes the industry has never sold because it is essentially free and because the story it tells that a black mother in 1962 fed her children well with almost nothing on the shelf is not a story any brand can profit from. Number 7. Chicken salad from Sunday's leftover chicken. Pulled meat from Sunday's roast, chopped fine with celery, sweet pickle relish, mayonnaise, salt, pepper. 5 minutes. Piled on white bread or crackers. Lunch for the whole family on Monday, made from what would have otherwise sat in the icebox. Number 6. Skillet apples and sausage. Breakfast sausage links browned in the cast iron, sliced apples added, brown sugar and cinnamon on top, cooked until the apples softened and glazed. 9 minutes. Breakfast for a Saturday morning when the whole family was home and everyone was going to eat 2 servings. Number 5. Fried cornmeal mush. Leftover cornmeal mush from last night, sliced thick, fried in butter until the outside was crisp and the inside creamy, served with cane syrup. 4 minutes. Breakfast that cost pennies and held children until lunch without a single processed ingredient. Number 4. Tomato gravy over biscuits. Canned tomatoes cooked down with butter, flour, salt, pepper, and a little sugar to balance the acid. Poured over hot biscuits. 8 minutes, if the biscuits were already made. A supper for the household where the meat had run out 3 days before payday and nobody at the table was going to bed hungry anyway. Every ingredient shelf-stable, every ingredient already in the kitchen, and a dinner that a black mother could put on the table with confidence in a week where confidence had otherwise been in short supply. Number 3. Fried green tomatoes. End of summer green tomatoes sliced thick, dredged in cornmeal, fried in hot lard until dark on both sides. 6 minutes. Served with a pinch of salt and eaten standing at the counter before dinner was even on the table. The recipe predates the movie by roughly a century. The movie made it famous to a mainstream audience, but the dish had been in black church cookbooks for generations before anyone thought to write a novel about it. Number 2. Onion sandwich. Sweet Vidalia onions sliced thin, laid on white bread with butter, salt, and pepper. 90 seconds. This is not a joke recipe. It is a Depression-era survival food that became a Southern black delicacy in its own right, remembered by anyone who grew up eating it as one of the specific tastes of childhood that no restaurant has ever reproduced and no food company has ever bothered to try. Number 1. Buttered white rice with sugar and cinnamon. This is the one that shows up in more black kitchens than any single recipe on this list, and the one that has been left out of every mainstream cookbook because it looks, on paper, like nothing. Leftover white rice from dinner, reheated with a pat of real butter and a spoonful of white sugar, cinnamon dusted on top. Sometimes a splash of evaporated milk if there was any left. 3 minutes, from cold rice to warm bowl. It was breakfast when there was no money for cereal. It was dessert when there was no time for pie. It was the meal a grandmother made for a granddaughter at midnight when the child could not sleep. It was the meal a mother made for a child home from school with a fever. It was the meal a young black woman remembers her grandmother making 40 years after her grandmother is gone, and cannot quite reproduce the same way, because part of the recipe was who was standing at the stove. The food industry has never sold this dish, because there is no way to package it, no margin in the ingredients, and no marketing story that survives the fact that the whole thing costs about 11 cents to make. But every black family reading this list knows exactly what buttered sweet rice tastes like, and knows the specific person who made it for them, and knows that this specific recipe, more than the elaborate Sunday dinners, more than the church cookbook prize winners, more than the meals photographed for Ebony magazine in 1953, is the one that carries the actual weight of black home cooking. The 10-minute recipe is not a compromise. It is a category of black cuisine as legitimate as anything on the Sunday table, developed by women who did not have the luxury of long cooking times, but refused to feed their families anything less than real food anyway. It survives in the cookbooks nobody opens anymore. It survives in the memories of the people who ate it. Pick one recipe from this list. Make it this week. Come back and tell me which one. The next video is